I want to graduate from go-to-market fit as fast as possible, and the frequency by which I run film reviews is going to dictate that. We've got a team, let's say 5 or 6 salespeople sitting around, and one person is assigned to the hot seat. Okay, how often do we do them?
I think we're probably doing it once a week.
Personally, I did them daily. I think in 2026, we're going to see an explosion of this stuff.
I want to talk about film reviews and not only how you do them, but why you do them as well.
Have you been in a film review?
I've never been in a film review for sales. I've been in film review for sports.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the name comes from.
I played hockey, so when we would do film reviews, we would watch back a game, and it would be a lot of coach up front, projection of the game happening, and then he would have a controller and just pause.
Yeah.
We would go over all right, where should you be? Here's why this play went wrong. Here's why we had a turnover. We lost possession, all of that. It would be a lot of understanding why people did what they did.
That's really cool. We're talking about best practices of film reviews and potholes within a sales context. And this is a really interesting example. And we often draw an analogy to sports. You've never seen a sales film review. What would your guess be on how to run those?
So I think we're pulling a sales call that a rep or a bunch of different reps did. And then I think we're live reviewing it.
So we got a 45-minute call.
Yeah.
And who's in the room?
I think the whole team's in the room.
The whole team. Let's say we're early on, we got 6 salespeople.
All 6.
We're sitting in the room with the sales leader. Okay, what do we do?
I feel if I was to do it, I would focus on something specific. I would be all right, this week or whatever when we're doing it, we're going over objection handling. Or this week we are going over openers. And I'm only focusing on that one section for each person.
All right, so Matthew's pretty close. We're gonna have to attack this through a couple different layers. So the first thing we have to ask is, what are we trying to accomplish? And there's a couple different layers with that. The first one is early on when we're going, especially through go-to-market fit, we don't have a repeatable process yet. So the main goal of our film reviews is to come up with a hypothesis of what that process is, and then listen to it data point after data point after data point to iterate on our process in real time. Now, the other point here that's specific to our context is this isn't really as much about making Matt better. This isn't as much around diagnosing Matt's specific level. That's between me and Matt as the sales leader. This is about iterating on the sales playbook. So this is less about how could Matt have done this better? How could Matt have done this better? And more about, okay, the way that we wanted to open up the discovery call has been on this question, but then we got this objection. Should we alter that? Are we starting to see patterns here? And every single time I have one of these, I'm iterating on the playbook, and that allows us to hone in on the go-to-market fit.
Is that the difference between coaching and film review?
Good question. In this case, we are at the go-to-market fit stage of the science of scaling, which means we have product market fit and we're building out the sales playbook. We have a hypothesis of what the buyer journey looks like, what the discovery call guide looks like, what the presentation guide looks like. And now we're going to iterate on it. We're going to design our playbook with customer calls. And so we're going to just iterate. That's the stage we're at. At some point, we're going to feel really good about that. At some point, we're going to be okay, this all is exactly what we should have done. We've now moved to the growth and moat phase. We're now adding 2-3 reps a quarter, 2-3 reps a month. And now the film review changes to your opinion. We're still doing film reviews, but we're not necessarily doing them in the spirit of iterating the playbook. Now I'm using the film review to coach Matthew.
Got it.
In that case, it's not in the group.
It's not even a group.
It's not in the group. That's an important differentiation is depending on where we are, we might be using film review as a team to iterate and optimize the go-to-market playbook. And then as we get into the scale mode, we still use film review, but it's more on diagnosing and coaching reps individually. In that case, I'm not in a team setting. I'm one-on-one as the manager coach with my salesperson. All right, you're probably walking out of here being I gotta run a film review. So we put together a template, step by step, with all these best practices embedded in it. Whether you're running film review to optimize your playbook or to optimize a rep's diagnosis and skill, we have the template available for free in the description. Click on it now. Now let's talk about the execution of the call itself. We've got a team, let's say 5 or 6 salespeople sitting around, and one person is assigned to the hot seat. It's a 45-minute call. So unless we are doing something really specific like price objections or pitching a new product where we might want to see 3 or 4 iterations, at this point, I'm building out my entire sales process. Maybe it's a discovery call. I'm just going to focus on one call in each meeting. It's a 45-minute call. And honestly, it might end up being, if we have an hour set, we might have 20 or 30 minutes to listen to film and 20 or 30 minutes to discuss. Okay. And what we're going to do is before we listen, we're going to assign someone to positive feedback and someone to needs for improvement feedback. The reason for that is I don't want this just to turn into like a total criticism, like throw up on all the bad things that happen. There were some good plays. It's just as important to point out the positive things that we can all learn because maybe we didn't know that that was a positive thing. So John, you're in charge of positive. Julie, you're in charge of needs for improvement. Matthew's on the hot seat, okay? So we'll listen to the call. We'll listen to the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe we get through the whole thing. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the call and I'm gonna let Matthew, who was on the hot seat, to self-assess first. Matthew, thank you for providing this gem to us today. What is your own feedback for yourself? Why do you think I do that?
It's good to involve someone early. I feel like if you were assigning positive, negative, by the time you would then, after both of those get to the individual, there's not much they can like preemptively get ahead of like, yeah, I already knew this was negative. Like I recognize this. So that saves all of that time and it can better focus what gets added that the person doesn't see already themselves.
Totally right. So there's a couple different reasons that Matthew's extracting out. First off is like, as the individual that experienced the call and now listen to it, you're probably gonna have some of the best insights anyway. All right, so I just wanna just extract those out in the beginning from the person that was on the hot seat. Second off, I wanna teach this salesperson how to self-analyze. Like, why do we have to wait for the meeting? Why do we have to wait for the manager? Why do we have to wait for the AI? If they can just reflect on the meeting and assess pros and cons and how to improve, they're gonna get faster, better. And the third one is to remove any sort of like defensiveness that they might have around the criticism, right? So this gives you an opportunity to point out, here's what I did great, here's what I could have improved on. And now as we move on, you've kind of like let that guard down and we can have a fruitful conversation on top of that. Now I go to the positive feedback. So I forget who I use, John. What was the positive feedback? We talk about that. Julie, what were some of the needs for improvement? We talk about that. Then we go around the room. Let's open it up. What do people think? And then as the leader, I can come over the top with my own insights and also my summary. Because I do want to like control the narrative as the leader. Hopefully, I'm probably one of the best process designers in the room at this stage. And so I want to make sure that we're aligning on the patterns and decision. Now, that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
How often do we do them?
As a team, I think we're probably doing it once a week.
That's what most people think. And that's fine. I've actually posted this on LinkedIn. I got pushback on it. But like personally, I did them daily. Because this represents our pace of learning, okay? And people are like, oh, every day, like we're carving out an entire hour every day to do this. It's like, it's the pace of our learning. And like usually when you're in a startup environment, you might not be only working an 8-hour day, right? So like once a week, I don't know, 4 calls a month, it just doesn't feel fast enough. I mean, I want to learn as fast as possible. I want to graduate from go-to-market fit as fast as possible. I need an optimized, tight go-to-market playbook, and the frequency by which I run film reviews is going to dictate that. Now, if I wanted to, if I had 6 salespeople, I could do like 2 salespeople in a room on Monday night, a different 2 on Tuesday night, a different 2 on Wednesday night, which possibly optimizes my sellers' output and time. And as a leader, I'm getting a lot of at-bats on the optimization. But I mean, you're only talking about an extra 2 or 3 hours of selling time in a week. I feel like at that point, we're just stepping up. And the learning is critical. Yeah.
How has that changed now with AI and the advantages and support that teams have with AI?
Yeah, we're starting to just see 2% of teams, like sales teams broadly, like really lean into this. But I think in 2026, we're going to see an explosion of this stuff. First off, just the fact of us every day at 5 o'clock getting in a room and running patterns. I mean, if we have 6 salespeople, each of which are doing 3-4 calls a day, each of those are yielding different outcomes in terms of stage progressions and ultimately customers. I mean, the AI is going to be able to look at this on infinite attributes that no human ever could see to help us understand which types of execution paths are going to lead to successful outcomes and really start to build and maintain the playbook by ourselves, right? So we're just starting to see the early versions of that software. Some people experimented directly with the LLMs, and that will eventually replace the sequence in the go-to-market fit phase. And a similar thing will happen with the rep themselves. There's not going to be a dependency on the manager to get to 7 call reviews on a single rep to diagnose whether there's a champion development issue or a sense of urgency development issue, where the AI will automatically be analyzing and cataloging all of the seller's calls and essentially doing a real-time certification on all the required skill sets, so we know where this rep is performing, do the diagnosis for them, and suggest the proper training to move them along. Film review best practices and key takeaways. Number 1, the film review has a very different goal depending on where we are in the science of scaling phases. When we're in the go-to-market fit phase, we're trying to figure out what our sales methodology and our sales playbook is. The goal of the meeting is not to necessarily diagnose and improve that rep. The goal of the meeting is to understand our templated sales playbook, whether it's our discovery guide or our presentation guide, and with each customer iteration, evolve the playbook until it's optimal. As we move to the growth phase, the film review plays a different role. Now it is all about individual rep improvement. It's about listening to film to understand where this rep's diagnosis is in terms of how they could be better and how we're going to coach them based on that particular skill improvement potential. And then finally, we're about to move into a very exciting era, probably in 2026, where AI takes all of this over. We're not even going to understand how it works, but it is going to automatically assess every single call we've done across the entire sales team with no human involvement, and personalize and configure and coach us on how to approach the next meeting. It'll also understand the specific diagnosis of a seller's skill set and propose the best next training model that they're going to take to improve as a seller. So hopefully that gives you a good blueprint on how to run film reviews within your organization to improve overall sales performance. I'm Mark Roberge, and this is the Science of Scaling. And be sure to grab that resource in the description while you're at it.